So when you're doing a game upstairs, not only did you play the game, but you see the game differently than a television does. You see the schemes. So is Arizona about Kyler, or are they about the schemes? What did you see that unless you were at the game, and even if you weren't a quarterback in the NFL formerly, what do you see about Arizona's offense that you like and that maybe surprised you?
Yeah, the tempo, the fast pace only works if they avoid some third downs in a drive. When they have to do it 13 to 15 plays in one drive, there's a little bit of a lull and a little bit of a stall because you have to go into your playbook and into your deeper scheme on third downs. So if you can avoid a couple third downs to start, that's when they're at their best.
Do you like him up tempo?
Oh, I love him up tempo.
Okay.
It's the same idea with Chip Kelly and the RPO and the quick throws. You get the defense moving sideline to sideline, sideline to sideline. You tire them out. Boom. You hit them with a little quick inside zone or a quick pass that hits and breaks up the seam because somebody missed an assignment. Somebody missed a gap because you're 3 plays in and the D linemen are running 53 and a third yards.
So they put a lot of heat on you.
Gassed. Oh, yeah. You're on your heels on defense. You blow one gap and boom, there goes James Conner, who I called John Connor, I think, like 7 times last week. Because he's the Terminator, man. John Connor. You know, that's where my head was. But him or Edmonds, I mean, they break and hit the seam, or the defense, one of the defensive ends doesn't quite contain as well, and boom, Kyler's out on the edge. There's your big 33-yard splash play. Now we're in the plus 10. That's their game. That's the blueprint for them. What the 49ers did, I was so impressed with Fred Warner, with their defensive
ends. He's great,
ends.
by the way.
Oh, my God.
He's
Fred
so
Warner's
good.
that new age linebacker that's taking over, right? The way tight ends evolved to now catch the ball, he's this new age linebacker with the body type of basically an avatar that's like, I can bow up in fullback lead on draw and all that. I can stop power, but I can also run sideline to sideline and cover backs. He's incredible. But what they did with the ends is normally like one's kind of high, one's kind of low, so they don't run into each other. And the aiming point is around 9.5 yards ish in the pocket, right? And the quarterback usually steps up to like 8, 7. They just rushed them deep, like almost 12, 13 yards. And they're like, okay, we're just going to create a perimeter here within the tackle box and keep him in this middle lane. Keep him in the tackle box because Kyler's first move is out. Not up vertically, attack the line of scrimmage.
It's out.
And then get out, like an up and out move. He's out immediately. And so they said, no, we're just going to put the clamps on that, make him operate in here. Remember, he's not really tall. So make him operate in this chaos where he's kind of like.
And it worked.
What's going on up there, right? And it worked. As soon as he tried to spin out, they basically told those ends, deep is the deepest, wide is the widest. The same way you play like chasing contain to make sure you don't get out leverage on a reverse or something. I was so impressed. And then the other thing that D'Amico Ryans, I think that's the blueprint. And the personnel that Cleveland has, they can do that. They can do that with their ends. They have the guys to cover. They can do the exact same thing. So it could be a dogfight for them. However, I loved what D'Amico Ryans said. We're going to keep him in the pocket. We're not going to let him just run around. We're going to try and slow down this fast break, make him set up an offense, essentially like a basketball terminology. He's like, and when we do, and we get to our proper depth, and we cover the right guy, and we're in the right gap, and we're fundamentally sound, he's still going to make plays.
Yeah.
He's still going to get us.
Right.
And he did 3 plays in a row. Quarterback draw, pass up the sideline, lollipop in the air. Now, that thing almost hit the ceiling in the State Farm Stadium, okay? That thing was in the air for a long time, and Hopkins caught it like a fair catch, like a punt. Boom. They have that play, and then the very next play, he throws a fadeaway end zone fade, touchdown, pretty much game.
You just have to own, because he's going to beat us sometimes.
That's right.
Now, Trey Lance, the one thing I noticed when I watched him, I had it on the secondary TV because I was doing a lot of Browns-Chargers, and you have Browns-Arizona this week, is that Trey's a big, strong kid, and he throws heat. He's not a lot of off-speed stuff right now.
Yeah.
So to me, it looks like, it reminded me a little bit, I remember when Colin Kaepernick came in the league, you were like, okay, great athlete, big arm. He doesn't understand kind of the ball between, the off-speed. So I do when I see Trey, there's something there, though, right?
Oh, 100%. There's plenty to work with. I think it was a nice conservative game plan.
Yeah.
The kind of game plan that kept the Cardinals, Vance Joseph, their defense coordinator, off balance a little bit, although he kind of had an idea that anywhere from 3rd and 2 to 6, even 7, quarterback run is legit.
Yeah.
Where a lot of teams, as soon as you hit 3rd and 3
They're
to
out.
6, all right, we're throwing the ball. Or we got some sort of gadget or whatever. We have something, but not that. I mean, they ran quarterback draw a couple times. Save for 2 4th downs, I mean, the 49ers are right there.
Oh, they were
right
in
there.
the game late, yeah.
My only concern with Trey is, and this is a mechanical thing, you're not going to change the way somebody throws, but you saw where J.J. Watt was getting up and batting some of these balls. I mean, he batted some of them with like his elbow. I'm like, bro, you're 6'5". You're all of 6'5".
That's right.
For that ball to come that low and unload that thing and throw like you're 5'10".
Brock Osweiler had an issue with that.
That was interesting to me. And for Kyler Murray to get a lot of passes tipped, fine. That's just going to happen.
Right.
He's a smaller guy.
Yeah.
But that really surprised me. Now, I mean, is that, just a career killer? Absolutely not. The kid's a phenomenon. He's a stud. So...
Yeah, I want to take, because you have the Browns-Chargers, which is just going to be a fascinating game. And Browns-Cardinals. So I said this, Kyler against Baker, and I said this 2 weeks out. Here's a witness. I said, the next 8 weeks are going to be big for Baker because he's playing against contemporaries. Burrow, Mack, Lamar twice, Kyler, and Herbert. So the GM who inherited him is not saying, this is not Aaron Rodgers, it's not Russell. If I don't think my guy's as good as those guys, I'm not giving you the bag. So this is a big week. This is a big game this week.
Huge.
Kyler can't be great and Baker struggles. Here's what bothered me with Baker, and he's got 50 starts now, or 51. He's not a kid. In that 2-minute drill with no timeouts, he's dumping the ball, forget the checkdowns, over the middle. Like, I know that. You got to use the sideline. When you don't have any timeouts left, Mark, almost every route is sideline or a guy moving toward the sideline.
Sure.
When you're looking at film of Baker, what do you make of that last drive?
I don't understand the 3rd and 9 run it unless you're for sure going to go for it, right?
Good point.
Here's the other thing is I think Stefanski was quoted as saying, correct me if I'm wrong, Joy and Colin, he said, well, we had young tackles in, something like that. He'd only been hit maybe once or twice.
Yeah, protection was pretty good.
I mean, at any point, like the game's on the line here. That personnel would be the last. I shouldn't say the last thing in my mind, but guys holding up in protection.
You got to win the game.
Yeah, like you have no choice. Like you can't run 2 tight ends and 2 backs on the field and be like, "Hey, let's just slam it up in there and see what happens." You're like, "What?" Like you got to go.
And I think
that blew my mind.
3rd and 9. If it's 2 down situation,
if it's 4 down
then
situation,
I'd buy
100. You look at the quarter. Sometimes the call would come in and you'd look back like, "What?" And he would remind you, 4 down. We're going for it on 4th down, essentially, right?
Good
we had
point.
tags like that. Or they'll tell you, hey, I'm calling quick game here. I know it's 3rd and 11. We don't need it all. Get me 5. Get me 4. Let this guy catch and run. We're 4 down. That was kind of like, giving you a heads up because it affects the way you read that play, right?
Yeah.
It changes the purpose of the play call. But to run it there and then not go for it, I don't know. Here's the thing. It's crazy because it's eerily similar to the 2009 Jets, which I know obviously very well. That was my rookie year. Bill Callahan was our offensive coordinator. This run game that Cleveland's using, I mean, they don't need the quarterback to win the way they're running the ball, the way they're playing defense. They don't need the quarterback. The 2009 Jets, unfortunately, won in spite of their quarterback. That'd be me sometimes. Sometimes they're doing that in Cleveland. Because of the way they run the football. It's gap trap, it's power, it's trap, you name it, they have it dialed up, and then they hit the play actions that look identical to it off of it. So it's not a drop back pass team. It's a slugfest. Every time, let's line up, get in the phone booth, and duke it out. I mean, that's kind of what they look like.
Yes.
So for us in the playoffs, when you needed some of those plays, we were such a run-heavy, ground-and-pound, like Rex used to talk about, team, that when we did throw it, when we did line up in 4 wide receivers a couple times in the playoffs, we caught people off guard.
Right.
They were like, whoa, what was that? And we completed 5 or 6 balls in a row. And they're like, holy cow. We thought we were ready for, maybe they're going to throw it, boom, and then we hit them with another run. So we had a good little change-up going. That's the formula for them. Remember we said 25 attempts? That's like, I'd rather keep them right there. And that is not, I'm not knocking the guy. That's not a bad way to play. That's just a formula based on personnel.
And that's what Stefanski's comfortable with currently.
I think that's kind of what they're relegated to do.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So Aaron Rodgers, said, before or after the game against Joe Burrow, he said he gave him some advice. His advice was, kids, slide. This is a rough league. You're going to get hurt. I didn't slide early, slide. Did you ever have a veteran quarterback come to you and give you a nugget or something?
Oh, absolutely. I was fortunate enough to have Mark Brunell, Kevin O'Connell, who's now the offense coordinator with the Rams, Kellen Clemens, other guys I looked up to and helped me, Rich Gannon, but guys who they constantly talked about routine. Get yourself into a routine Monday through Sunday, and then in the off season, make your notes on that routine as the season goes, and you're going to have to tweak it and fine tune it every single year. Pre-game routine, travel routine, all that, just to keep you, keep the bumpers on and bumper bowling for those first couple years, and then you adjust as you go. But one of my favorites was we would be in Kevin O'Connell was on one side of our hotel room, the adjoining room, and Mark Brunell was on the other one, and we'd all meet in 408, which was my room in New Jersey before our games with the Jets, and we'd go over the game plan, and we would do like fake 2-minute drills, and Kevin, you could tell Kevin was going to be a coach, and Brunell is now coaching as well, but they were perfect because they'd say, okay, we're going, Toyota this, Mazda that, blah, 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 and we'd go through all of our plays. And Kevin would say, okay, completion, 3 yards, left sideline, didn't get out of bounds. I'm like, okay, clock. He goes, why? And at 45 seconds, we're doing this, we're doing that. And so we would do that for like an hour the night before games, just hanging out. And Brunell would finally just like throw the papers up in the air. And we knew we were done when this would happen, but Brunell would just throw the papers up in the air, the call sheet. He goes, hey man, you guys can keep this 2-minute drill going as long as you want. Bottom line, just throw it to the open guy, please. I'm going to bed. And he would just walk to his room.
Sometimes it is awesome. That simple.
It was awesome.
Okay, here's another thing. Patrick Mahomes, he did this a little in college, as Ryan Russillo talked about earlier. He had a bad defense. You overcompensate. In Kansas City, their defense has forced 11 punts. It's not good. I mean, against Buffalo, it was bad.
Right.
And the argument can be made that Mahomes sees it, senses it, and tries too hard. In your career, either way, did defense ever dictate a little bit psychologically how you played?
A little bit. I think those are the things you fight. And you also have to understand with Mahomes, the 2 games that he's really tried to force a little too much. I mean, against the Chargers and Staley and how well Herbert played on the other side. I mean, those were like playoff matchups. And then the Bills. That's a playoff team. That's a legit, Final Four team right now and last year. So I think teams are catching up a little bit. Teams are starting to figure this thing out.
A little bit.
And you heard Staley talk, I think he was on your show, saying, hey, we're going to keep a lid on it. You're not going to throw this ball over the top.
2 safeties.
We got the umbrella coverage on it, and we'll take our chances underneath and force you to be really boring and take underneath completions and do it 15 plays in a row, and you're going to screw it up before we do.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see a little more of that because other teams would get, they'd get a little more courage and say, hey, let's go hit him in the mouth. It's Patrick Mahomes guy, whatever. Boom, let's go smack him. Well, good luck, because there goes Tyreek Hill, and there goes you name it, right by you, and he hits you with the big strike. Now teams are like, okay, just wait for them to screw it up a little bit.
Yeah. I can't believe you're going to have so much fun, Cardinals and the Browns.
It's a big one. Fired up, man.
It really, really is. It is, when you watch Kyler Murray and you sit there sometimes, it's just, I'm not a big envy guy, but you ever look at him run and think?
I said it on the air the other day. I said, if I could just run like that, just one Sunday, wake up knowing I could run like that, roll out of bed and just run like that. God. That would be my favorite memory of all time. But I thought last week was good for Kyler and his development because it wasn't as simple and easy and effective offensively. He had to grind it out. They had plenty of 3-and-outs, plenty of sacks. He was kind of suffocated a little bit by DeMeco Ryans in that defense. And then he found a way on one drive. Sometimes that's all it takes. 3 plays in a row, quarterback draw, completion, game. And he learned that. He has that club in his bag. He has that notch in his belt. Like, okay, it might not be perfect, but I think when you can learn those lessons and win, that's so big for your confidence. So he was great in our production meeting and everything.
He was?
He's like, let's roll, man. Like, I hope they pressure me. Like, I'm ready. I know where they're coming from, and I'm going to beat you. Like, he just sounded so confident. And judging from the reaction with everybody else who's been in those meetings with him before, said it's a complete 180. He's just feeling so good and so strong and confident with where he's at, and he should be.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.